We spend our entire lives filling our minds with facts, opinions, beliefs, and ideologies, treating our consciences like a hard drive, constantly accumulating more data. Yet, true wisdom is not measured by how much we know, but by our willingness to not know. Enlightenment arrives not through addition, but through a profound subtraction. These ancient writings provide the key to applying this principle today, offering a way out of the mess of modern enslavement and inequality perpetuated by governments, corporations, and organized religions in cahoots. We add our voice to the many others with good intentions for the betterment of humanity, supporting all efforts to use this timeless wisdom to dismantle these oppressive systems and reclaim our collective freedom. In chapter 48, Sun Tzu tells us, "In the pursuit of knowledge, every day something is added. In the pursuit of the Tao, every day something is dropped. Less and less do you need to force things, until finally you arrive at non-action. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone." True mastery can be gained by letting things go their own way. It cannot be gained by interfering. And in chapter 71, he tells us, "To know that you do not know is highest. To not know but think you know is flawed. Only when one recognizes the flaw as a flaw can one be without flaw. The sage is without flaw because he recognizes the flaw as a flaw. Therefore, he is without flaw." These two chapters form a devastating critique of conventional education and reveal the true path to mastery. Chapter 48 presents the central paradox. While worldly knowledge grows by addition, spiritual wisdom grows by subtraction. Every day something is dropped. What's being dropped? Our rigid opinions, our need to control, our attachment to being right, our mental clutter that prevents us from seeing reality as it is. This process of unlearning leads to Wu Wei, non-action, or effortless action. This isn't laziness, it's the supreme effectiveness that comes when we stop forcing our limited concepts onto the world and instead align with the natural flow. It's the difference between a novice swimmer thrashing against the current and the master who floats effortlessly, using the water's own energy. Then chapter 71 delivers the knockout blow to intellectual arrogance. To know that you do not know is highest. This is the famous Socratic paradox, but Lao Tzu takes it further. The greatest danger isn't ignorance itself, but the illusion of knowledge. The person who's certain they are right is trapped in a prison of their own making. The sage isn't someone with all the answers, but someone who has mastered the questions. By recognizing the flaw of false certainty, they become without flaw, not perfect, but perfectly open, receptive, and adaptable to the ever-changing Tao. This revolutionary approach to knowledge appears across wisdom traditions as the gateway to true understanding. In Socratic philosophy, the entire method is built on recognizing ignorance. Socrates' famous declaration, "I know that I know nothing," is the Western counterpart to chapter 71. His dialectical method wasn't about teaching answers, but about helping others unload their false certainties through rigorous questioning. In Zen Buddhism, the concept of beginner's mind, Shoshin, perfectly captures this spirit. As Zen master Shunryu Suzuki said, "In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the experts, there are very few." The rigorous meditation practice in Zen is essentially a method of unlearning, stripping away conceptual thinking to experience reality directly. In Stoicism, the practice of bringing objective representation to all situations requires letting go of preconceived judgments. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This reaction begins with unlearning our automatic interpretations. The Stoic sage constantly questions their initial impressions rather than clinging to them. In Sun Tzu's Art of War, The superior general wins by having no fixed formations, by being so fluid and adaptable that they cannot be predicted. This strategic flexibility comes from unlearning rigid battle plans and instead reading the actual battlefield. Sun Tzu writes, "Know the enemy and know yourself. In 100 battles, you will never be in peril. But this knowing requires first emptying yourself of assumptions." Our entire education and media systems, often shaped by the intertwined interest of governments, corporations, and organized religions, are designed to fill our minds with knowledge that serves the status quo. From childhood, we are taught what to think, not how to think. We are given ideologies, consumer desires, and national narratives as if they were immutable facts. This system depends on us having a full cup because a collective mind saturated with prescribed content cannot question its own programming. This is why the wisdom of unlearning, drawn from writings over 2,500 years old, is so vital today. It gives us the key to our own shackles. This knowledge is marginalized because a person who knows how to unlearn cannot be easily controlled. We become immune to political propaganda when we recognize all political claims as partial perspectives. The consumer economy loses its power over us. When we unlearn the false connection between possessions and self-worth, the entire architecture of control weakens when our community begins subtracting mental clutter rather than constantly adding to it. Therefore, we must collectively question why we glorify special groups of people that own multiple riches and unlimited resources, while so many families leave with meager means and no real chance to use their inner gifts, their innate gifts, or their talents. This systematic inequality stifles human potential and weakens our entire community. The ancient practice of unlearning offers a way out, allowing us to use modern technology for connecting rather than consumption, fostering a greater sense of equality and coming together to build a different way forward. The practice of unlearning becomes our ultimate form of modern resistance. Digital fasting. We should regularly declare a knowledge Sabbath, a day without news, without social media, without any external inputs. This creates space for our own collective thoughts to emerge and reveal how much information is actually mental pollution designed to distract us. Opinion suspension. We can practice holding our strongest opinions lightly. When we find ourselves certain about politics, relationships, or any complex issue, we can consciously remind ourselves we might be wrong about this. This simple mental move creates space for a genuine learning and community wisdom. Build unlearning circles. We can create community spaces where the goal is not to debate who is right, but to collectively explore what we might be wrong about. These are judgment-free zones where people can safely admit confusion and question deeply held beliefs, strengthening our collective intelligence. These two systems, one of constant mental acquisition, the other of mindful unlearning, can coexist like an inhale and an exhale, both valid and connected to the life of a conscious society. One focuses on filling the mind, the other on creating space for wisdom. But for our collective mind to be free, we must master the balance between them. The mind is not a container to be filled, but a fire to be kindled, and fire requires empty space to breathe. Our collective journey to wisdom begins not with another book or another piece of advice, but with the courageous decision to empty our cup. When we let go of what we think we know, we discover everything that truly is.